So, hi guys. I wanted to do a little follow-up video today on the first video I did about lupus and the vaccine. But what I wanted to talk about today is my actual story. So this is why I came to the conclusions about why I made the first video. When I was a baby, we're going way back. So when I was a baby, my mom took me to the doctor and she did regular checkups and she got regular vaccines up until a point. I don't remember which vaccine it was, and I don't even know that my mom knows, and I would be really interested to figure out which vaccine it actually was, because here's what happened. Went in, got the shot, went home, and within an hour, my leg, where they had given me the shot, was 3 times the normal size. Like, I had a major reaction to this. Like, it wasn't just my leg, it was a whole body reaction. And my mom rushed me off to the doctor and said, look what happened. And they said, oh, she's had a horrible reaction to this. So they got that under control. From what I understand, the next thing that happened is that every time I came to a booster shot or a new vaccine, they would split the vaccines and give me half of a vaccine, wait 2 weeks, and then give me the other half. And they would never give more than that at a visit. As far as I know, oh, and they would also give me Benadryl before I would get the vaccines. So, just had a coughing fit. But from what I understand, medically speaking, histamine blockers are things like Benadryl. And it's actually a histamine blocker. Histamine comes in and fights the invader, the allergy or whatever, the thing that it's that's not supposed to be there. And they gave me a Benadryl to block the histamine because they didn't want that part of my immune system triggered when they gave me the half a vaccine. So they wanted my body to recognize it and my white blood cells to trigger the infection in the vaccine, not as an allergy. That's what I remember them telling me. So I hope that makes sense. When you take an antihistamine, you first of all get tired and you're blocking all of that histamine from reacting to the invader within your body. So the allergy might still be going in, you're just blocking your body's reaction to it, which I find really interesting, because then are we blocking just the allergy reaction or are we blocking an autoimmune reaction? I want to research that. So, as far as I know, I did not have a problem, anything that wasn't controllable from that point on with the vaccines. But what happened, those are very developmental years. I don't know what happened to my body. I don't know if I came jacked up or if that caused it. I have no idea. So, what ended up happening is I ended up having I don't remember the first 12 years of my life. But I know that when I hit 12 years old, I started to get very, very, very sick. Do you get a booster at 12? I need to find that out. Pretty sure you get something at 11. But when I started hitting puberty, this was the key. My body chemistry changed enough, or my brain, whatever, all that crap that goes on during puberty, brought on an autoimmune disease. And what they figured out is that my body, I had gotten sick with something, it's usually either an allergy, a virus, or a bacteria, or a food. Something triggered my immune system to start fighting. And then it didn't stop fighting. It actually then took the opportunity, my lovely, stupid white blood cells, to go into my thyroid, and they planted a flag in those cells and said, anything coming from this thyroid, we're gonna attack it because it's bad. Well, it wasn't bad. My body just planted that flag, and from that point on, my body has always kind of attacked its thyroid, and I have to take medication to stop that and to give me back the hormones that a normal thyroid would be giving a normal person. I don't have that, so my body attacks that. I had problems ever since. In fact, I'm going to get an ultrasound and possibly a second needle biopsy to make sure that my thyroid is not cancerous, because it's pretty jacked up, as you can see Yeah. I'm doing that at the end of this month. Okay, back to the point. What was my point? Okay, so at 12 years old, my body decided that my thyroid needed to be fought. It's just always done that for the rest of my life. Now my son, at 1 month before his 12th birthday, he had his body got sick from one of those triggers. We don't know what, and you usually never know, but you get sick and then you keep attacking. And for him, his white blood cells planted that flag in his pancreas, in his actual beta cells. And the beta cells are the ones that create the insulin. So they absolutely destroyed his beta cells. He no longer, his body will never have those again. The war was won by these stupid white blood cells and his beta cells. So that's why he will forever have to carry insulin and count his carbs and give himself blah. Okay, back to me. I will go more into depth into Mason at another time, and I'd like to interview him for you guys. But for me, at 12, it was my thyroid. It takes 6 weeks to get on a medication for thyroid, 6 to 8 weeks for it to develop in your system enough that you can see the results and see if it's going to put you back to normal. I never went back to normal. I just got sicker and sicker and sicker, and no one could figure out why. They kept doing blood tests, and all of this went on for 2 years. I had chronic fatigue. I never hardly went to school. I had things like ligaments in my knee that would be too loose all of a sudden, or have inflammation enough that I ended up having surgery, or I had so many things happen. And then by 15, and I had a doctor that fought to figure out what was wrong with me. But see, this is an internal battle, and you cannot see it on the outside. You can see maybe a few things. Every once in a while, you can see the butterfly rash on people if they're not, or they're in a flare-up, or they're not, not diagnosed or whatever. And it's really hard to diagnose in someone as young as I was at that time. I'm 44 now, and it's 2001. No, 2021. So you do the math. I don't feel like it. And at 15, this doctor fought and finally figured out that I had lupus. And what that meant is the whole point in the beginning, that my white blood cells are pretty dumb, and they get triggered by something, and then they go to war in my body, and they decide where they want to plant their flag, and they plant it. I'm going to do a second video here, and I'm going to talk about what has been happening over the last 5 years. Maybe more, because I can condense it, I think. But this takes me up to 15, where they finally decide, hey, you have lupus. So what are we going to do about it? I was 15 years old. I'd spent 2 years deathly ill.